I am holding in my hand the Muslim Brotherhood plan for the destruction of the United States, written 5/22/1991. The title of the plan is مذكرة تفسيرية للهدف الاستراتيجي العام للجماعة في أمريكا الشمالية. You all got that? There will be a quiz. It is titled the Muslim Brotherhood, an explanatory memorandum for the general strategic goal for the group, the Muslim Brotherhood in North America, written 5/22/1991. This plan was presented as evidence in the Holy Land Foundation trial, the largest terrorism trial ever in the history of the United States, where our government handed down, hello my best friend, where our government handed down 108 guilty verdicts for Muslim Americans and Muslim American organizations raising money to support terrorist organizations in the Middle East to the tune of millions. And I'm just going to read you a paragraph of this plan so it will give you an idea of what I'm talking about. They talk about the settlement in the United States. Understanding the role of the Muslim Brother in North America. The process of settlement is a civilization jihadist process with all the word means. The Ikhwan, which is the Arabic word for brothers, must understand that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers so that it is eliminated and Allah's religion is made victorious over all other religions. Is this clear? They don't mince words, do they? But the most important page of this document is the last page. Because in the last page, they list 29 front Islamic organizations set up in the United States with the specific goal of sabotaging America from within and destroying America by our own hands. And I'm just going to name a few. Number one on the list is ISNA, Islamic Society of North America. And if you're familiar with ISNA, it's because they are now advisors to President Obama about Middle East policy.
This provocative statement created a firestorm last month because of its contents and the author's government role. I do consider the United States an Islamic country with an Islamically compliant constitution. The tweet by Mohammed El-Biari raised eyebrows thanks to his senior role on the Department of Homeland Security Advisory Council, where he helps craft America's counterterrorism policies.
He had the symbol that was most closely associated with the Muslim Brotherhood from when the Egyptian military cracked down on them. All the Muslim Brotherhood supporters had a specific sign that they put up on their Twitter and their Facebook pages, and he was right along with them.
El-Biari has praised Muslim Brotherhood icon and Al-Qaeda favorite Saeed Qutb and spoke at a 2004 event honoring Iran's Ayatollah Khomeini. In addition, CBN News reported in 2011 that El-Biari stood accused of leaking sensitive government documents to the media. In light of those charges, Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert pressed former Homeland Security Chief Janet Napolitano in a heated exchange.
Are you saying before this Congress right now that as Secretary of Homeland Security that it is a lie that Mohammed El-Biari downloaded material from a classified website using the secret security clearance you gave him?
It is still unclear whether any formal investigation of El-Biari actually took place at DHS. What is clear is El-Biari's recent promotion at the department.
In September 2013, he was promoted, so he not only is an official advisor, he's one of the select advisors within that group to influence policy.
El-Biari and the Department of Homeland Security did not respond to CBN's request for comment. El-Biari is not the only Obama administration advisor who's been tied to the Muslim Brotherhood.
There's lots of evidence. The President of the United States personally takes counsel from Mohammed Majid, and that means the enemy is inside the wire.
Majid has reportedly met with President Obama to advise him on immigration and counterterrorism policy. He also sits on a Department of Homeland Security working group on, quote, violent extremism. Yet national security expert Frank Gaffney told CBN News that the organization Majid leads has troublesome ties.
He is the president of the largest Muslim Brotherhood front organization in the United States, the Islamic Society of North America.
In 2007, federal prosecutors named ISNA as an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest terrorism financing trial in American history. The defendants were convicted of funding the terror group Hamas. Majid's group was also mentioned in secret Muslim Brotherhood documents uncovered by the FBI.
The very first group on this Muslim Brotherhood strategic plan was the Islamic Society of North America.
So we not only have the fox watching the hen house, we have the fox inside the White House dictating policy in the ear of the president. Number 2 on the list is the MSA, the Muslim Student Association. The Muslim Student Association has more chapters on American college campuses than the Democrats and the Republicans combined. Number 8 on the list is NATE, the North American Islamic Trust. The North American Islamic Trust owns the deed to over 90% of American mosques in the United States. That is a problem. Now, what makes this very important, and I'm going to focus in the last 5 minutes on education, is to show you how they set up every organizations in this plan to destroy America, focusing on every sector of our society. Organizations focused on publishing, organization focused on media, organization focused on education, with the strict purpose of doing sabotage to America from within. And I'm not talking military. We know that ISIS and Al-Qaeda and all the others want to attack the United States and do damage to the United States. As a matter of fact, we in the United States have 150 terrorist organizations right now operating in America. 5 of them are operating right here in the District of Columbia. And our government, and these are the ones we know about.
Good evening, everyone. We begin tonight, keeping them honest, with the continuing, escalating, and most importantly, unproven allegations by 5 Republican members of Congress that the U.S. government is being infiltrated and subverted by radical jihadists, members of the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, perhaps most shocking of all, they're implying that this woman in particular, Huma Abedin, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's Deputy Chief of Staff, may somehow be working on behalf of the Muslim Brotherhood, and they're questioning how she got a security clearance.
She is the chief aide to the Secretary of State. And we quoted from a document, and this has been well reported all across Arab media, that her late father, who's now deceased, was a part of the Muslim Brotherhood. Her brother was a part of the Muslim Brotherhood, and her mother was a part of what's called the Muslim Sisterhood. We have requirements to get a high-level security clearance. One thing that the government looks at are your associations, and in particular your family associations. And this applies to everyone. It would be the same that is true with me. If my family members were associated with Hamas, a terrorist organization, that alone could be sufficient to disqualify me from getting a security clearance. So all we did is ask, did the federal government look into her family associations before she got a high-level security?
More on the Clinton Foundation. The New York Post broke a bombshell story that one of Hillary Clinton's top aides, Huma Abedin, worked at a radical Muslim journal for 12 years. Some of those years covered the same time while she was working at the White House as an intern for then First Lady Hillary Clinton.
Government, but never before have we seen foreign governments and foreign entities, and I'm talking about Canadian billionaires who want mineral rights, and the Russian government that wants to buy uranium within the United States, and in this case, the Arab countries and Muslim countries that want to influence U.S. policy, and they do so by, in a sense, funneling money through the Clinton Foundation, and doing that, buying the influence of then Secretary of State Clinton.
When you've been working on your pieces, what is the most surprising thing that you found about the Clintons that you think most of America doesn't know?
Well, I think many people, even many Republicans, think of Hillary as an extension of Obama, and that Hillary's 4 years, let's say, will be the same as Obama, this remaking of America. But I think at the end of the day, Obama, although I disagree with him, is an ideologue. He has a vision for America. He has a vision for the world. Hillary and Bill operate, I think, more like Bonnie and Clyde. These are two people who are on the make and on the take. They were making money in Arkansas by, you remember when Hillary put up $1,000 and made $100,000 almost overnight with no risk. Then when they went to the White House, they were renting out the Lincoln bedroom, taking curios out of the cabinet, selling pardons to big-time felons. So this is their sordid history.
Built to be the FBI director.
So take us back. What happened at the FBI to make it so political over the years? I mean, a lot of people talking about the Muslim Brotherhood as part of the issue here. What's your take?
I mean, I've spoken about that, and a lot of people don't want to hear this, but, you know, right after 9/11, in my view, Bob Mueller, who was then the director, you know, sort of acquiesced with CARE, you know, which is actually a front group, in my view, of the Muslim Brotherhood. And there's a lot of connections to the Muslim Brotherhood in the White House.
Infiltrated
in the White House.
Yeah, in the White House.
In the White House, without getting into detail. And the FBI really took away from the training materials of the FBI the whole history of radical fundamentalism. I mean, it would kind of be like, okay, we're not going to know anything about La Cosa Nostra. We're not going to know anything about their habits or why they do things. I mean, it's just nonsense.
So you weren't allowed to study the background of Islam?
How can agents investigate radical fundamentalists without knowing the whole history, where they're coming from, what their mindset is, what, you know, that they want to basically infiltrate the United States and take the country over,
but that's
along with killing people.
Mueller took away the tools to do that.
He took away the tools, and he kept them away.
And Comey kept that up.
And Comey kept that up, and the agents, you know, training were basically, not the agents were dumb, the materials were dumb, you know, and basically this blanket of political correctness tied behind the back at least one arm of the FBI, made it really impossible for the FBI to better protect the United States of America without question. You know, you look back to the Boston Marathon and all those other cases, right? It turns out that the FBI knew about those people, right? But they kind of dropped them off the side. Well, yeah, in the FBI there was a culture of, boy, you better not get too out there. You better not lean forward too much on some of these people.
Why? I don't understand why.
It would take all the psychiatrists in the world to figure it out.
Because they just didn't buy the narrative?
Yeah, and why and how the political elite went along with this is just really disgusting. You know, it's a conspiracy of numbness and stupidity that has really harmed the ability of the FBI to protect the United States of America.